Welcome to Manifested Publishers.
Hello learners, my name is Stephen Kariungi, and we continue with our biology topic of discussion, and that is genetics. During our last lesson, we discussed one of the disorders of gene mutations, and that is sickle cell anemia. And we saw how sickle cell anemia occurs. And today, I would like us to discuss genetic cross diagrams involving sickle cell anemia. Genetic diagram for sickle cell anemia. And we say that sickle cell anemia is caused by a recessive gene, that it can only result to sickle cell anemia when it is in form of homozygous recessive state, what we indicated as HBS. Hemoglobin type S is the defective hemoglobin. So if it occurs twice, then it can lead to sickle cell anemia. But if it only occurs once and the other gene is for the normal hemoglobin, then we have a less mild condition that is known as sickle cell trait. So we're going to have an example whereby we are told that a couple had sickle cell trait. Then using a genetic diagram, illustrate the transmission of genes to the children and find the probability of bearing a child with sickle cell anemia. So on this, we have a couple, that is the man and a woman. Both are sickle cell trait. So that means they are in heterozygous state. So we'll say the parental phenotype. We always start with the phenotype before we go to the genotype. So let's say that is the man. Then we have the woman. The man is sickle cell trait. And also the woman is sickle cell trait. Remember, these two do not have sickle cell anemia, but they have both the defective gene for the sickle cell and also the normal. So they have both. So they are in a heterozygous state. So parental genotype is HbA for the normal hemoglobin and HbS for sickle cell. The same case applies to the other person. And then we do the gametes. The gametes should be circled. HbA, that is hemoglobin type A, which is normal. Then hemoglobin type S, which is sickle cell, or which is defective. So we can do genetic crossing, fusion, with the first one on the other side. So we get HBA, HBA, the first and the second of the other side. We have HBA, HBS. Then the second, HBA, HBS. And lastly, we have HBS, HBS. So these are the offspring genotype, the genotype of the offspring. So the phenotype, HBA, this one is normal, hemoglobin. So this one. Then there are two, HBA, HBS. So these are two sickle cell traits. And then we have one sickle cell anemia. One sickle cell anemia. So if you are to work out the probability, we are told to find the probability of bearing a child with sickle cell anemia. So we have only one. So probability of sickle cell anemia is 1 out of 4, which is equivalent to 25%. So we can either put the probability as a percentage or we can put it as a fraction. So that is basically shows how the sickle cell anemia is inherited from a couple or from parents who have the sickle cell trait. We can also have a different scenario whereby one parent is sickle cell anemia and the other one is normal. So this is example 1. Example 2. So we are told that the father has sickle cell anemia while the mother has normal hemoglobin. What is the probability that their children will have sickle cell anemia? So we do the same. We start with the parental phenotype of the father is sickle cell anemia and the mother is normal hemoglobin. Then the parental genotype sickle cell anemia is HBS, HBS. The normal hemoglobin is HBA, HBA. Then we do the gametes. So you have HBS and another HBS. Then we have HBA and HBA. So this one you can use a Punnett square. because the other one we use the genetic crossing. So the father has HBS, the mother has HBA. So when you cross them, these and this, you get HBA, HBS. Also here you get HBA, HBS, HBA, HBS, and finally HBA, HBS. So from the diagram above, all the children will have sickle cell trait. All the children will have sickle cell trait. None will have sickle cell anemia. So there is there is zero probability. So this is offspring genotype, and we are saying that there is zero probability of sickle cell anemia. None will have sickle cell anemia. So we are saying that the phenotype is that all children will be sickle cell trait. So at that point, we can have an assignment. So the first question, what is the name of the heterozygous condition of sickle cell anemia? And number 2, explain the advantage of having sickle cell trait. So we are going to continue from there. Until next time, goodbye.